Hello, everyone. It's your friend of a friend, where we uplift our friends and hold them accountable if need be. It comes as a surprise to literally no one, and just like that is getting canceled, even though they tried to take the sting out of it and say that the series creator Michael Patrick King revealed that the Sex and the City spinoff starring Sarah Jessica Parker will end after the current third season and a two-part finale. And just like that, the ongoing storytelling of the Sex and the City universe is coming to an end. Michael said in an August 1st Instagram post, "While I was writing the last episode of And Just Like That Season 3, it became clear to me that this might be a wonderful place to stop. Sarah Jessica Parker and I held off announcing the news until now because we didn't want the word final to overshadow the fun of watching the season," he added. Sir, we weren't having fun watching that show, but continue. "It's with great gratitude we thank all of the viewers who have let the characters into their homes and their hearts over these many years." I think it had more to do with the show being drugged through these YouTube and internet streets since the first episode dropped. It's hard to believe that they could screw up such a brilliantly iconic show so royally. Luckily, they were smart enough not to call this sequel Sex and the City. Instead, we'll chuck it into the landfill of bad ideas right next to the second Sex and the City movie, which was awful. So in this video, I will outline the many ways they fumbled and just like that. Some fans of the show would say that the show was DOA as soon as they tried to proceed without the character Samantha Jones. It's been said that Samantha put the sex in Sex and the City, and she definitely did. She also put the friend in friendship. She was the most loyal out of the four, and her contributions to the show deserve more than some lame excuse about a fallout over money or Carrie firing her as her publicist. Samantha definitely was about her business, but she would never let her career interfere negatively with her friendships with these four women. Samantha deserved better than that, and I feel they handled it the way Sarah Jessica Parker would have dealt with Kim Cattrall, not how Carrie would have dealt with Samantha, no longer being a part of her life. I mean, this is a close friendship that spanned decades. They weren't just friends, they were sisters. So what could they have done differently? I think they should have taken a page out of Girlfriend's book. Girlfriends ran around the same time as Sex and the City, from 2000 to 2008. This show often drew comparisons to Sex and the City, who came first back in 1998. Girlfriends was incorrectly labeled the Black Sex and the City. I don't know where the comparisons came from, aside from the show being about four friends that could dress well and had dating mishaps. Other than that, I didn't see the parallels. Joan Carol Clayton was the main character of the show, just like Carrie, but her personality was more like Charlotte, needy and desperate for marriage. Lynn was sexually liberated like Samantha, and I guess they are similar in that way, but Lynn was a mooching bum that leached off of everybody. Samantha would never. Toni could be blunt like Miranda. Both were successful in their careers, but she was also flashy like Samantha. Remember when Toni said she hated sex because she was worried about getting too hot and her edges snatching back? Samantha would never. And Maya, her and Carrie were both writers in the end. Maya started off as Joan's assistant and later became an authoress, but she was also married with a child from the jump. So that's literally the only thing she had in common with any of the characters from Sex and the City. Anyway, Toni Childs was played by Jill Marie Jones, who left the show in 2006. According to her, it was because her contract with the network had ended. The network wanted to renew her contract, but when she asked for more money, they just let her go. So pay disparity and a desire to pursue new projects were her reasons for leaving. As fans of the show, we were devastated, and the characters and the audience were allowed to mourn Toni's departure. The writers wrote a plausible conflict between the two major characters that severed the friendship, and it allowed us as the audience to watch Joan grieve the loss of her childhood friend, instead of being dismissive and saying, "Oh well, Toni just moved to New York, life goes on." Like the ladies of Sex and the City did when Samantha relocated to London. You can't tell me that Carrie wouldn't have flown all the way to London repeatedly to try to fix their friendship. Now, how could And Just Like That depict the same thing? Well, they can manufacture a real conflict between the two characters, something that was more serious than money, because we know Samantha didn't care at all about money and would happily loan it to a friend in need, like when she offered to help Carrie buy her apartment. It would have been on brand to watch the girls mourn the loss of Samantha and examine that part of friendships that sometimes, no matter how many years invested, we can grow apart, go our separate ways, but the love is still there. Now, they didn't have to do this the entire season, but a few episodes would allow us as the audience to adjust to Samantha not being around, because even though the show had ended years ago, we're still used to seeing the four of them together.
John! Oh, God. Oh, God, John. Oh, John, honey. John, honey.
Now, this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think Big needed this dramatic emotional send off. The real life actor Chris Noth was killed off the show due to real life essay allegations. I personally never liked Big, and that little stunt he pulled at their wedding made me hate him. I don't care that he changed his mind at the last minute. The fact that he was willing to embarrass this woman yet again, I wish he would have kicked Big to the curb once and for all in the movie. But he made it to the reboot, and if they had to get rid of Big's character, why not have him go out with a bang, in the lying, unavailable, cheating, trifling way that he's always conducted himself from the beginning? At least it would have been entertaining for us to watch Carrie finally dump Big and take him to the cleaners and live lavishly on his dime. And if ever there was a character more deserving of a melodramatic death and send off, it was Stanford. Stanford Blatch, who was played by Willie Garson, passed away in September of 2021 of pancreatic cancer. Stanford was a loyal friend even when Carrie wasn't a good friend to him, and he deserved more than just he abandoned Anthony, his life in New York, and ran off to Japan to be a Shinto monk. Like, the writing was so damn lazy, and I know it was probably a shock that he passed, but he deserved a more loving send off. Another element that turned everyone off was the quote unquote woke element of the show. At times it came off preachy, and every moment felt like a weird PSA on homophobia, queerphobia, and racism, and it was executed poorly. First of all, Sex and the City has already been LGBTQ plus friendly, and they've always had representation all throughout the series and the movies. So the character Chay trying to preach to the audience about acceptance and etc. It's like, Shay, please. Fans of the show, on average, there might be some outliers, have no issues with the LGBTQ community, and if they did, they would have tuned out of the show a long time ago. So we really didn't need all the lectures. Their attempts to tackle racism was cringy, although I do appreciate them being willing to try and educate people. But when Miranda told the professor that she would have helped the professor when she was getting attacked on the subway, but she didn't want to interfere because she didn't want to be seen as a white savior, I'm like, girl, what? And there were so many tone deaf and just odd moments like that. And since we're on the topic of race, let's talk about the women of color that were added to the show. There was Seema, played by actress Sarita Chowdhury. It was cool to see her on screen at first. We got to learn a little bit about her culture and how she was viewed by her family and community for still being unmarried at her age. But it seemed like the writers didn't know where to go with her character, and her and Carrie had no chemistry. And the more the show dragged on, the more apparent it was becoming. Dr. Nia Wallace, played by Karen Pittman. She was in the first two seasons, and I don't remember what happened to her character by season 3. And there was no way I could see her and Miranda living under the same roof no matter what the circumstances were. These two did not hit it off organically as friends, and that's okay. And I hated her storyline with her and her ex-husband. And Lisa Todd Wexley, played by Nicole Ari Parker. I liked her on the show. I feel like her pairing with Charlotte on the show made sense. Out of all the girls, Charlotte has been the only one to venture out of the friend group and seek out friendships that were different from her or what we'd expect from her. Remember when she befriended a group of lesbian women? Not because she was one or was interested in one. She just found commonality with the women outside of their sexuality. And it was the other women who were like, "Aw, that's cute, but if you're not one of us, you can't sit with us." So it's no surprise that she gravitated towards Lisa. They're both wealthy PTA moms with children in the same age range. The way that they tag team that counselor who prepares teenagers for college recruitment showed their chemistry. And then the fact that Lisa is wealthy and upwardly mobile allowed her to mesh well with Charlotte's circle. They love being around wealthy people no matter the race. I enjoyed her and her husband's storyline. It looked like things were about to get interesting between her and her coworker though. And Lisa also brought fashion out of all the new additions. I thought she brought a really nice, unique style, which is important on a show like this. Chay, played by Sarah Ramirez. I think Chay got on everybody's nerves. Even if you're part of the LGBTQ community, she was obnoxious and really believed they were the main character. We all hated to watch Miranda get out of character just to keep this dreadful person around, and it was great to see Chay go. And we might as well include Aiden. Poor Aiden. He still couldn't make it work with Carrie. I loved him in the series and couldn't stand him in the reboot. Between the long distance, the ex wife, the kids, Carrie hung in there way too long. He had too much baggage. And the youngest kid had school pal power written all over him. Aiden cheated on Carrie with his ex wife, and she didn't even care because I think by then she had already checked out. But she didn't make a thing out of it because of her past with Big. But when she found out Aiden's known insecurities were making an appearance, she couldn't wait to end things. And this time we love to see it. Aiden and Carrie just weren't meant to be. And neither was this reboot. This was such a missed opportunity to make people in this age bracket lively and exciting. Instead, they fell into tired cliches and missed the mark on every turn. Fans of the original show were disappointed in how boring the characters became as they age. Is that life? I hope not. Sarah Jessica Parker seemed to be very sad to see the show end. She said, Carrie Bradshaw has dominated my professional heartbeat for 27 years. I think I have loved her most of all. I know others have loved her just as I have, been frustrated, condemned, and rooted for her. The symphony of all those emotions has been the greatest soundtrack and most consequential companion. Cynthia Nixon also marveled at the franchise's decade-long journey, calling it such a delight from start to finish. I can't believe our wild, beautiful, and just like that ride is almost over. She wrote on her Instagram page, I will miss working with these people every day so incredibly much, but know we will always be a part of each other's lives. And Kristen Davis said she felt profoundly sad about the show ending. She expressed gratitude to the cast and crew who worked with her so hard on our show with deep love. Thank you to all, she added in her own post. You hold me up and I do not take it for granted. And for some reason, a lot of news publications thought that Kim Cattrall was throwing shade that the show was ending because she posted, It's the end of a very long week. I don't get it. What does this have to do with the show ending? I think they were just trying to be messy because the message doesn't correlate to it. I just think it was the timing of the post. She posted this minutes after Michael Patrick King's announcement, but it could have just been a coincidence. So the series finale will be a two-part finale. I hope they bring it. So friends, let me know, will you be watching? And what was your opinion of the reboot? This is my unpopular opinion, but I didn't hate season 3. I thought it was getting a little better, but clearly that's just me. But let me know down in the comments what you think. And please do me a favor, like and subscribe, and thank you all so much for watching.